Trading following a drawdown will always be a difficult thing. Um, However long you've been trading and for however long you continue to trade, it will be one of the most difficult things to overcome. And quite frankly, I'm not sure you will ever overcome the feeling of trading in a drawdown. It doesn't feel good. You don't feel confident. And if you're really new at trading, you won't even really know that you're in one. You'll basically probably think that whenever you're losing, whenever you're in a drawdown, you're taking consistent losses one after another. When you're first starting out, you're probably just going to strategy hop and you're going to flip from one to the next because you think the one strategy doesn't work. Well, could be true if you haven't back tested your strategy. Because if you had back tested your strategy on enough data, you would know that through that back testing, there are going to be periods of times or clusters of losses within periods of times. Right? So you just have to maintain your strategy and follow your rules. But regardless, it can affect your confidence. And that's one thing you need to learn and to become self-aware that during these drawdowns you don't strategy hop and you don't deviate from your strategy or you don't strategy drift. Right? So it's not even like you're changing to a completely new strategy, but you're bending your rules here and there. And that is something that takes a lot of self-awareness because your brain will do it to you without even, you won't even notice that it's happening. So I've been trading for about 2.5 years and I'm still progressing as a profitable trader. Like I've had a total of 4 profitable months, but and it sounds naive to say I think I've got it, you know, but back in the day, I remember a year ago, I was trading like a fair value gap strategy. And I had 2 profitable months in a row, and it probably could have kept working. But there were some other factors there too that I can get into in a different video of why I ended up strategy hopping and not staying consistent. And then from there, for the next, I don't know, 6 months, it just went downhill, right? Like I was starting all over again. And now I'm in a place where I trade prop firms. I used to trade small cap stocks with my own money, my own account, small account. But then I made the leap to prop firms and I had to trade completely new instruments, right? Like CFDs, which are indices and futures that I've never traded before. So I started that in January and it is now May 18th. And from January to May 18th, the first January, February, March was just figuring out the strategy I'm going to use, figuring out the market, just learning how it operates, how it moves. And it's been challenging, but I think because I've had all that prior experience of just, mistakes and whatnot, that I picked up on it pretty quickly. And I'll show you. This is what happened in April. Here is April 2026, so just last month, and I was up 2.4K, so 2,400 on one prop account out of the 5 funded accounts that I have. So it's pretty good when you multiply by 5. But this was still just like early development of the strategy. But the main thing here was that I was just following rules consistently and taking like one trade. And you can see the data when I take more trades, that oftentimes, it doesn't really work out as well. But here's what I wanted to show you really. Here's May. And you can see things have taken a downturn, right? All last week and today. It's been losing. It's been drawdown, right? $1,200 last week, plus today $1,400 down. And it's difficult. because you have to trade the same setup, the same strategy. You can't deviate. And that's what I did last week, right? Because honestly, all these red trades from last week, at least Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, it wasn't even my strategy that was failing me. I was so confident from last month being green, and this in the beginning of this month, and the previous week, some small losses, but some good wins in there. And I came in the previous week and I was trading, and I didn't even realize that I was drifting from the strategy. Most times, I wait for a confirmation candle. Once the confirmation candle prints, I open, or I enter my trade, the market order, the stop loss, and the take profit on the next candle, or maybe during a pullback on the next candle. I was placing limit orders to enter. I wasn't even trading at my key levels. I was trading in between the key levels, thinking that I was still doing what I should be doing, but I was racking up losses, if you can't tell by this data. And looking back, it's frustrating, right? But key thing I realized is that I was doing that. I was drifting from strategy. And one thing that actually happened that was interesting was I would wake up and I would feel different before even opening the charts, before even coming to the market. Like something in my nervous system was off. Like I wasn't like prepared to trade that day. So it's almost like my brain and my nervous system had kicked in some warning response after all these years of trading that like when you wake up and you feel in control of your trading. You've got your rules, you have your entry signals, you have your stop loss to take profit, right? You feel in control of when you're going to execute. But this week, when I was waking up and going to trade, it was just, I could feel that I wasn't in control, like I couldn't trust myself. And for the first couple of days, I didn't know that's what it was. It wasn't until after this Wednesday with the big losses that I realized that, like, what the hell are you doing? You're not even following your strategy. You're taking trades you would never take, right? And so I started, I went back to the data, which is what you have to do. And the unfortunate part is now I truly am in a drawdown with my strategy. After like Thursday and Friday and today, those are all valid trades. Followed my rules. And to get back to following my rules, I literally just wrote them down on a piece of paper, pen to paper, with little check boxes next to each rule. And I made sure as the market was moving and my setup was forming, I would just check the box on each rule to make sure that they're good trades and they followed the rules. If I checked all the boxes, I took the trade. Unfortunate part is now that those trades are losing. So it's like now I'm in a true drawdown stacked on top of the strategy drift mistakes that my strategy was not at fault for. That was me. That was just me making mistakes. So they're stacked on top of each other right now, and I've been taking a hit. It's unfortunate because I was really close to a payout. But right now, I've sized down, which is what you have to do in a drawdown, even though it kind of sucks. But you got to size down. You got to get back to break even to where you were. Get your profit back up. Get your confidence back up. Make sure you continue to follow the rules. And only then can you size back up. And like I said, I'm still a work in progress, right? I'm not a 6 or 7 year veteran trader who's made millions of dollars. That is not me. I just started trading prop firms and I haven't even gotten a payout yet. So I know I will, just based off how I feel and how I know how to handle this. But I'm just going to document the journey and be 100% real. This is where it's at, and it's interesting. I think the psychology is what interests me most in all this. It doesn't feel good, you know, to be in the drawdown. And there's really nothing you can do other than execute your strategy. And you might think that, oh my gosh, like my strategy's not good enough. Like maybe I should tweak it. Maybe I should. But the reality is, like, I mean, let me show you this again. Like here, for those, for last week, this was up to like 57%, right? So the win rate's there, profit factor, and average win and loss per trade could be better. They were better before last week, right? And those are some other psychological factors that I could get into on a different video about taking wins too early and not letting them play out, right? But that's based out of fear. The reality is you have to trust the process, right? So you just keep trading during these drawdowns. You size down, and that's it. And you keep it simple. You just keep doing what your strategy tells you to do. And you have to accept the fact that it's not like working a 9 to 5 where you know you're going to get paid every day. Like you can lose money like this day after day, but it'll come back around. That's just the math of it all and the statistics of it all. But performing under pressure, like if you're in need of cash today or tomorrow or next week or this month to pay rent, then you're going to be in a bad spot. You're going to revenge trade. You're going to make this drawdown even worse. You're going to trade a different strategy. You're going to force things. Your mind is going to make you see things in the charts that aren't even there, and you'll still take the trade. I've done it plenty of times, but I feel like I'm in a much better position now, and I'll keep documenting this as I go. We'll see how long this drawdown lasts. I'm going to keep trading my strategy. I'm going to keep taking ideally one good setup per day is what I'm going to do now. Because as you can see from this past week, I had 3 trades, 4 trades, 2 trades, 3 trades. Like I'm just trading all over the place, right? And it was kind of slipping into that this month. And honestly, even at the end of last month, right? Because there was a lot of 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, and then 4, and then 6, and 4. So I started taking trades like just all over the place, I guess, at the end of last month, and it bled into this month. And I was probably getting lucky on a few until boom, it just finally hit me. But the important thing is I realized that and I saw it, which before I wouldn't have done. I would have switched to a different strategy by now. I would have gone to something completely different. So that's progress. That's getting better. Like I said, I'll continue to update on how things are going. And if this is all just crazy delusion, well, then I'll show you. And we'll figure out that the rest of this month was just all losses, and maybe it's all losses. I really don't think that's going to happen, but like I said, we'll both find out. It is a profitable strategy. It's just a matter of executing that strategy one time per day, the first trade, and sizing appropriately. I'm not here to flaunt wins and losses. I'm more interested in the psychology of how it all works and how your brain operates under pressure and uncertainty, which is literally all trading is. You wake up every day. You don't know whether today is going to be a green day or a red day. Green week, red week, right? It comes in waves, and it all evens out in the long term. But you definitely can't think you're going to be a freaking millionaire off one week of trading. Because the only thing in your control is your execution of your strategy. And you have to release that outcome dependent mindset of being right and wrong based off the outcome. You're right and wrong based off if you executed your strategy as you intended. And that's it. You can't control what happens next. So, and that's a difficult thing to wrap your head around. It's definitely not easy, but I'll keep updating, and we'll see where this goes. Trying to be transparent and honest.